Now, does that sound like a fairy tale to you? It must. It must. You go home and say, went to that seminar and that Abraham person kept pointing at the floor and calling it a vortex. This imaginary friend that Abraham has. But we want you to understand that everything is vibrational. There are all kinds of vibrations that you accept as reality that you can't see. Think about your television. Those horses and those men are not riding around in that box. The box is getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. In other words, you accept that it is vibration that is being interpreted in a way that is visual for you. And we do not want to hurt your feelings, and in no way do we want to diminish your appreciation of this vivid, tactile, sensual, glorious, physical world in which you are living. But we want you to understand that everything that you are experiencing here is vibrational interpretation. And you have the ability to interpret vibration in ways that you are not doing because we love you very much. You are hung up on your physical reality. You are so in love with this physical reality. You want to see it and taste it and smell it and taste it and touch it and hear it. You want to be in it. You want to be involved in it. You want the physicalness of it. You document it. You take pictures of it. You make statues and monuments about it. You are so stuck in your now reality, and we want to drop a big bombshell on you and help you to understand something in a very powerful way. What you are calling your now reality is old news. Because it is the bouncing off place for what is the now reality. In other words, this vortex of creation is who you have become. It's who you have become. And when you're looking at what is as far as it is manifested, you're looking at old news, and that's the separation that you feel that you call negative emotion. When you're sick in your physical body and you ask for wellness, vibrationally speaking, in your vortex of creation, you become well. You become well. Vibrationally speaking, you become well. The source within you is well. Jesus knew that. When he looked at you, he did not look at your now reality. He did not focus upon the illness that was dripping from you. He knew your now reality. He knows you as you have asked to be and as you vibrationally are. He did not look at what was in terms of manifestation. Instead, he knew what was in terms of vibrational reality. And he knew it so well that when you believed in that which he knew, that illness could not abide in your vibration. In other words, you moved into the vortex where your wellness became your immediate reality. Your immediate reality. We're not talking about big distances between out of the vortex and in the vortex. We're talking about vibrational subtleties that you can feel, that you can train yourself to understand. You can train yourself into the vortex. You can get in there and you can practice what it feels like to be in there until it becomes your expectation that things go well instead of your expectation that things do not go well. You said, I'll sift and I'll decide and then I'll line up with my decision. That's what a deliberate creator does. But so many humans sift and ask, and the source within them holds to the vibration and calls them steadily. But so many humans keep beating the drum of need or of lack as they continue to speak their words without finding a vibrational alignment with their words of desire. So we want you to remember that you have two vibrational aspects, and that the emotions within you are your indication of how well aligned or not you are, allowing of your full connection or resistant of your full connection. And that's what we'll be talking about as we are moving forward here today. We want to help you to remember who you really are. We want you to get up to date. We want you to get up to speed with who you are. We want you to leave here knowing the validity and the reality of your vortex of creation. We want you to accept that this vibrational reality is present tense. Do you know that in Australia it's Sunday? That's so strange. Jerry and Esther were there. They called the office. They said, we're living your future. And it's really good. And of course, that wasn't altogether true, was it? Because it was all now. In other words, they were conversing. Whether you are talking to someone in Australia on the telephone now, or whether you're talking to someone in Atlanta, or whether you're talking to someone who is non-physically focused. It's all happening right now, isn't it? It's now. There's no separation. It's now. And what we want you to understand is that the now that is you is not the now that you think is you. You think it's the you that's sitting here in these clothes with this much money in your bank account, in this body, with these relationships. And we want you to understand that your now reality in this vortex of creation has moved past that. And the reason that you feel negative emotion is because you're not moving with it. So we want to show you how to get forward moving. We want to show you how to live real time. We want to show you how you can be in this moment, living in this physical world, but living the vibration of all that you have become. Do you know that when you're moving through life and a problem is coming into focus, do you know that in the moment that the problem is coming into focus, the solution, an equivalent solution, is coming into focus too? Do you know that? That's such an important thing to know. When a question is formulating, so is the answer. But if you are of the frequency of the question or of the problem, you cannot be of the frequency of the answer or the solution. You can't be on both frequencies at the same time. We think that it will be helpful to you to understand that the equivalent solutions are brewing with the equivalent problems. And you can get so good at living so real time in this vortex by reaching for thoughts of optimism and thoughts of appreciation and thoughts of love. You can be so in sync with the vibration of who you really are that as a problem is coming into focus, the solution is too. And you can be so good at living real time that you don't even ever know the problem happened because the solution happened at the same time. Are you following? Yesterday, and it happens almost every time, Jerry and Esther are driving anywhere. Esther is driving the monster bus. They're coming into the hotel. And as she is looking out ahead, she sees a vehicle towing a trailer with some equipment on it. And as Esther looked at it, she knew something squirrely was about to happen. She could just feel it. So she backed way off. She actually put her foot on the brake and slowed down about 15 miles an hour. The car behind her slowed too, and the one behind that slowed too, and the one behind that slowed too. Esther's bus is very big. And the man who was pulling the trailer was changing lanes with a car in his blind spot. And the car who was in his blind spot swerved way out of the way right over to where Esther would have been if she had not felt the problem and the solution simultaneously. Now that happens to you all the time. You know it does. All the time you have those sensations and much of the time you don't actually ever get to see the problem play out so that you don't get to crow about your solution. But we want you to understand that it's happening all day, every day. Your physical body, trillions of cells, when something is ingested or introduced to your body, you breathe a bacteria or a germ, or you ingest something in food or air. The trillions of cells in your body launch these rockets of desires and find the solution before your body ever finds the problem. In other words, this is happening all day, every day. You are introduced to so many things that if the doctors could get you to go every hour on the hour and let them check, they would pronounce you terminally ill with so many different things because your body is compensating all day, every day for what's coming to it. When you are an ornery toad, you interfere with the communication of the trillions of your cells. When you are in love, when you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, when you are in chronic appreciation, when you're feeling good most of the time, you don't hinder your cells from finding their solutions in the moment that they are introduced to the problems. And the problems are so slight, they are not even microscopically discernible. You see what we are getting at? When you allow yourself to live real time, where solutions and problems are dancing together, that's what you said you would do. Not one of you said, I'll go into the physical and I'll make life so hard for myself and others around us that we will really expand. None of you said that. You said, I'll go forth into this contrasting environment, and from the contrast, improvement will be born. That's what the evolution of all species is about. Improvement will be born. And, you said, I'll pay attention to the way I feel, and I will do my very best to stay up to speed with the expanded version of me. Because the fact of it is, when you expand and you don't go with it, you don't feel good. It's just that simple. You are a lover, and when you don't love, it feels awful. You are one who knows the worthiness of your being, and when you don't feel worthy, you feel awful. And it's not because someone outside of you is assigning that judgment and feeling bad about something you've done. It's that you expanded and you're not up to speed with you. Every negative emotion you feel, no exception, every single time, is because part of you expanded and the other part didn't. And we're here to talk to that part today. We want to convince you of the reality of your vortex of creation. We want to help you realize that you are a vibrational being. We want you to know that you are vibration, that you are spirit, that you are source, and that you are in this physical body. It's not one or the other. It's not materialism versus spiritualism. It's everything is source, everything is spirit, everything is energy. And here in this physical form, you have the option of allowing the fullness of it to flow, or of pinching it off. It's your choice, and your emotions indicate the choice that you're making. We're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing off limits. We want you to know that we know who you really are. In other words, your vortex is very vivid and clear to us. So as we visit with you, we have one primary intention, and that is to find a way of soothing you into your vortex. We know as teachers that you cannot be booted in. And we couldn't boot you in anyway because we're never out. In other words, we stand in your vortex calling you in. That's what inspiration is, you see. And we'll give you every trick, every process, every perspective that we hold to help you to understand that you belong primarily in the vortex. That's who you are. Life is supposed to be good for you. What do you want to talk about? You've come with some things. Very good. We're going to have a wonderful day here together. Begin right here. Stand if you think it's you. You are the one. Wait. You are the one.